Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing all right. Alrighty. So we are back on databases. We're going to have a lot of fun trying to actually... So now that we got connected, now we can actually use the databases, that's the fun part here. So getting connected is a little bit obnoxious sometimes, but we'll get there. Hopefully you all had a chance to get that done on Tuesday. So today we're going to look at, there's actually a tool you can go download to make life a little easier for getting these set up. And then we're going to go back to NetBeans or IntelliJ and then start interacting with the data. So we want to just use a tool you can go download. It's from this Sqlitebrowser.org. It's a pretty easy tool. Not NoSQL. So NoSQL is a different variety. It's not only SQL. We're just using the SQLite database, which is just a standard SQL. So from this Sqlite browser, it gives you a nice little tool that you can use for interacting with your database. So we don't, the steps to like create it and set it up are a little tedious. We can do them in code, but it's going to be a lot easier if we just use the tool. So I'm fond of these no installer versions here, because then you just get a downloaded zip file and you can go extract that zip file and then run a little tool here. So if you go download the whatever version here, so for me for Windows, you can use the Mac version if you want the Mac. You can open this one up and it's got a bunch of stuff in it ready to go. We just run the DB browser for SQLite here, and it gives us a nice visual tool for working with the SQLite databases. Oops, that's kind of in a weird spot there. Let's see. Come on. There we go. So right now there's no database open. We have to go open the database. So once we get that downloaded, we can go and open our database, either one we want to do. We can go find, I think we put them in C, in a SQLite folder, DB, and either one. We'll do the IntelliJ test one. Why not? And it opens and it's empty. There's still nothing in it right now. There's no tables. So tables are the main place where we store data. Right? We have our columns and then we have the rows inside of it. So if we wanted to just make a quick table, we can make a table. We'll call it, how about item? This is the item table. And then we need to add columns or add fields here. So we're going to add a field. We'll call this the, what do we want to call it? The product, or maybe the name. And then with SQLite, you get a couple options here. You don't have a lot of options because this is the light version. In a full relational database management system software, you get lots of options here. For us, mostly integers for whole numbers, text for text, right? Anything that has a string, and real or numeric. Numeric's probably a little easier if you want to do other sorts of numbers here. We just go with text. That's the name here. Cool. And then you got some other options. We don't need any of these right now. Probably more trouble than they're worth at the moment. So generally you'd want this PK as the primary key and AI to auto increment. Could make life, depending on what we're doing, easy to reference things. We're not going to get super crazy with databases because I don't know if you've taken a relational database management system course yet. We're just going to make name. We'll add a field for, how about the price? And then we'll call this one, that'll be a numeric value. And we'll add another field for quantity. And that'll just be an integer value. Okay, we'll say okay. So now we have an items table. So this is what you could run if you wanted to run the SQL yourself. Again, it's probably more of a hassle than it's worth to try and get all of that into Java. Right? We just have our table here. Right? And then I could, if I want, I can browse the data. Right now there's nothing in it right now. Right? So if we want to add some data, we can go and we can add a line, add some data, insert a new record. It says, oh, okay, what is it here? So here's coffee, here's price $1.99, and we've got a dozen of those. Right? And I can add, sorry, the buttons showed up kind of small here on my screen. We can add, what else should we sell at our little pretend shop here? Let's see, maybe we should sell some Coke for what is it, 249 or something, I don't know, and we'll have 10 of those. Okay, so by adding rows to this table, right, we're filling out all the values here, then we're good to go. So then I want to close my database down. Yes, we want to save it. Save all of our changes to the IntelliJ test database. Save our changes, and then we can go and play with it more later. We're going to see if we can now interact with this in our code here. So you can shrink this one down. We'll come back to that one, and we'll open up our little database project. It's almost there. Almost there. So let's open our databases in IntelliJ. Let's plug in my watch while I wait for this to load. Now that we have the database and we have this connection that we're trying to do here, right, we're going to try this connection. This is the try. Remember, if you put something inside the try block, I don't know if you've actually seen this or not yet, it will automatically dispose of this, close this when we're done, which is nice. We put it right inside. So whether or not we get to catch, we don't need to make our own finally block. All right, so if we wanted to try and get some information out from here, right, we need to build out our query. Let's follow this again. Never remember the exact syntax. Where'd it go here? All right, there we go. And all right, so we need to create a statement for the connection. So we need a statement object here. Statement equals a connection dot. Come on, keep loading here. Create statement. So we can create a statement that we're going to run here. Then we're going to give it a query. So we're going to have a string for the query. So the query is what we're doing to the database here. Yeah, import the statement, please. Oh, we had all of our imports already. My goodness. Load, friend. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're going to make our query. Now, this has some funny syntax here. So remember when we talk about the 4 operations, we're going to create data, we're going to read data, we're going to update data, and we're going to delete data. So we're going to start with reading here because that's the easiest syntax. So you say select. So select is the keyword for asking the database for data. I did that, didn't I? Didn't I add the import? Why is it so confused? Okay, sure. We're going to say select. And then what do we want to select? So there is an option you can say select star. I'm not a big fan of this in programming. So star will give you everything, but we don't want that specifically. So we want to say, hey, I want the name field, I want the price field, and I want the quantity field, or the quantity column, like the names of the columns that we want. Right? So the select is the keyword. And then list of fields, comma separated. Right, from table name. Okay, that is, it'll say from item. And then there's some optional stuff we can do later. We don't need to right now. So that's the query. We want the name, we want the price, we want the quantity from item. And this will give us all items in that item table. Okay, and then we will execute our query. Let's get, oh my goodness, friends, the results set. Right. Yeah, result set. So we're going to say I want a result set. So the result set is everything that comes back from this. This will be our, I don't know what we call this, items maybe. So we take our statement and we want to then execute a query given our query. And we have this items we can do something with here. So I can say while items dot next. while we have something to work with, right? We can go and get it here. So we can, what does it want us to do here? No, that's silly. So while we have items, Hector, my friend, thank you so much for dropping on by and donating those bits to the Student Scholarship Fund over at the University of Michigan Dearborn College of Engineering and Computer Science. All right, that one needed a big breath. Okay, so we want to get the values out then of each of these. So once we have it, you've got a couple options. So we're going to say this is my items dot. So as long as there is something to get, we want to go and get particular values. So there's a couple options here. Now, there's more things in here than SQLite's going to do, because this is just the generic SQL browser here. So our easiest one here is going to be get string. And then you can either give it a column index or the column label. Again, I'm always a fan of the column label, so I'm going to say name here. And then we can just print this out here. We can just say the name plus whatever we get back here. We'll print that one out. And then we're going to print out the price is items.get. This should be, which one is it? We want the get double from price. And then we want to print out the quantity is items.get integer from quantity. So if there's something for us to grab, we're going to get one row worth of data here. And then we go to the next one, it loads the next row. So remember what we had in there, we had coffee and then we had Coke. So the first time we call items next, it's going to load up our row because there was data for it to read. Then it'll load up the next row and print it out here. And then we're all done. We want to close that connection. So we started the connection. I'm sorry, no, not, you want the statement. Statement. Connection is going to get closed from that. We got the statement. Close. We're going to close that statement. Is that executed the query here? And we're going to close it down. So we should be able to connect to our database here. We should be able to get information out of that item table and print it out. Let's see if it works for us here. It's thinking real hard. Come on, IntelliJ. There we go. And now we see coffee, $1.99, quantity was 12. We see Coke, $2.49, 10. So I'm going to come back here and we're going to go open up our database. Open it up here again, the IntelliJ test. Find our table. Let's add another row to it here. What else should we sell? Should we sell bits? We'll sell bits. Bits cost about a penny here, and we've got gazillions of bits to sell. Right? Because Twitch definitely wants to sell some bits. Let's do one more. Let's do a million. Why not? 1,000,000 bits. How about that? Is that 1,000,000? Is that 1,000,000? It's hard to tell with numbers. I think that's 1,000,000 here. 1,000,000 there? 3 zeros. No, one more zero there. Okay, cool. And then we'll close our database back down. So you can't have it open more than once. So you gotta be a little careful with the closing behind the scenes. It'll get upset if it's already open. When we run it again now, we should get another entry. Right, now we should have our third product. And we have bits. Awesome. So what we can do here then, what we can kind of make life a little easier for us to interact with things is it's a small pain to do this column by column by column, right? So what we want to do is we want to add a matching class here. We're going to add a class for item. It'll have name, quantity, and price. Quantity and price. Sure, don't just add stuff. Yeah, it's fine. We like it. So private string for name, a private double for price. Oops, double and a private int for quantity. Right, and then we'll insert all of our things that we need here. We'll generate some getters and setters. You know, that's fine. Most of those should change. Quantity and price can change. Name probably doesn't want to change. So let's just do name, quantity and price for getters and setters, and then we'll do just a getter for name. So let's generate just a getter for name, and then we'll let you pass in all of those to the constructor. So then we'll make a constructor here that takes all of those values. Oops. Okay, a little format, should be in good shape. So then what we can do, instead of just printing these things out, let's go make items here. So let's make a, probably, how about an array list, right? Because we don't know how many there's going to be here of type item. We'll call this my items. I don't know, items list, how about that? Equals a new array list. Yes, let's add the import for that. And then we're just going to add a new item. So we'll take item equals a new item, and then given all of these values that we needed for the constructor. Right, so we get the name, we have the price, and then we have the quantity. Right, and then we can take our items list, and we can add the item. Right, give that a little format. Let's see what that looks a little nicer. Then when we're done here, right, after we finished all of this stuff, we can go do some other things with that item list, right? Or maybe we can add a function or something, or wow, that's fun. I don't know, we can add in anything over here. So we could say for item in items, items list, items. Oh goodness, we gotta declare this outside, don't we? Let's put this outside of our try block so we can use it later. Or, you know, maybe we return it here. Maybe we make this a function that returns. So this is get items from database. That'll return an array list type item. Sure. Why don't we do that? We'll just return the items list when we're done. Okay. So we'll make an items list. We'll try and do all this connection stuff, and then we'll return the items list when we're done. Then we can say my array list of type item list is get items from database given the IntelliJ test database. Then we can go do something with it, right? Just kind of break this out so we can do different functions, right? Connect to it, whatever, get all of our items here, return it back out. Should work out pretty well here. And then now we could go through and say for item in the items list, I'm going to go print out, how about the name, and then we're going to add item.getName. Right, and you want to do this all in one line, maybe? We could do it all in one line. Plus price, item.getPrice. Here, let's and add in quantity, item.getQuantity. Okay, so we'll use our method here to go get that result back as an array list of an object here, of a class that we can use. So all the database stuff we can do, we're just going to put all that over here in database land. Let's give this a run. Let's see. Now, we've not made it quite a very proper database because we've allowed duplicates, and there's other sorts of issues here, but again, that's a little bit beyond the scope of what we can really tackle without some additional database knowledge. So for now, we're just going to say this is cool. Right? Awesome. So we get coffee, Coke, and bits. So we can stop saying new database has been created. Probably don't need either of those, right? There we go. All right, so then I'm going to make another function here, another method here. And let's call this one, what do we want to do here? So we'll make this one, how about a void method here? We'll call this add item to database. Okay, so we'll still do the same connection stuff, but then we also need to be given an item. Item. So if you give me an item, I'm going to go add it to the database. So to do that, we don't have this same, the query is going to be different. So we did read, right? We need create. So create is the insert command here. So we're going to say insert into item, and then you give it in parentheses the value or the field names you're going to give it. So we say insert into table name, parenthesis, this is the column list, then you say values, and you have to give it the actual values. Then this is the values to insert list. So I'm going to just add in here, let's go down another line. We want item.getName. We want item.getPrice. And we want item.getQuantity. And then all of these need to be substituted in because we need commas here. So let's do a string.format. And this will be, what is it, a percent? Goodness. Hang on. String.format given in parentheses. Wow, why did it all turn gray? That's weird. Okay. Oh, because I never ended the string. That's why. So we want what, %s, floating point number, and then a digit. Is that right for string format? Wow, it's been a little while of a string format. Let's go Google that. Yeah, %s, %f. Okay, cool. String.format. Have we seen these before? A string formatter? And then we'll say what things we want to add to that format here with item.getName, item.getPrice, and item.getQuantity. So string format's a method. You give it a string with these substitution locations that we can put in here. No? Maybe? Let's see. Okay. Now, we do need to be careful. This is not ideal here. So I think that might be better this way. Doing it this way is risky because if I'm getting a value from a user, they can put bad stuff in here. Right? If they put in certain sort of SQL commands, it puts us at risk for what's called a SQL injection attack if they give us some nasty SQL. So this is not great to build out your query this way here. So we want to, I think the prepared statements will take care of that. Right? I think it does. Yeah. Okay. So instead of doing it, so this is the bad way here. Bad, danger way. And then at some point you can look up SQL injection if you're curious. We're a little short on time for doing all that ourselves. So I'm going to comment this out. We're not going to do it this way. Instead, we're going to use a prepared statement. So to do it that way, we're going to say, hey, I need a string. Oh my goodness. Nothing wants to line up as my SQL prepared, I'll say prepared SQL. So it's very similar here, but all we need here now is almost close enough. We give it, add in this string, these question marks. And with question marks here, it's going to automatically format for us. We have some options to add these values here for each question mark. So similar to the substitutions here, but just ever so slightly different, because what we're going to do is we're going to create the statement here. So we're going to make a prepared statement. Statement equals my connection dot prepare statement, given the prepared SQL. Prepared SQL. Then with my statement, why? I already have a statement? Oh, yeah. That's right, we don't need that one. So with my statement then, I can now go start doing these substitutions. So statement, as a prepared statement, has an option for me to set particular values. So I'm going to call my set string here, and I'm going to say, hey, this, now the weirdest part here, and I don't know why, is it indexes starting at 1. It drives me crazy here. So index starts at 1 with prepared statements. So it's not like an array where index is 0. It's completely different from everything else. We're going to say, hey, the first thing you want us to substitute here, substitute with item.getName. No, 1. There we go. Then we'll take our statement, and then we're going to set a double to 2, right? The second item with item.getPrice. And then we'll take our statement, and we're going to set the integer here, the third value, as item.getQuantity. Okay, so using the prepared statements here, defend against SQL injection. Okay, it's different than just taking a string here and jamming it in. That's the danger way. The prepared statements have built-in protection against what's called a SQL injection attack. Don't worry too much about it. You can learn about that in database classes and things. Okay. Then we want to go and execute our statement here. So we're going to call our statement dot. This is now execute. Execute and update. I'm going to call it execute update. Now it can give you back the row count if you want. It's not all that interesting. It'll tell you, hey, you successfully updated something or not. For our purposes, it should just work every time, and we should be fine. And then we want to close our statement down. Okay, so let's see if we can't update or add a new item here then. So we're going to say we need a scanner for keyboard. There's a new scanner given system.in. Yes, please import. And then we want to say the name of an item to sell, and then we'll have a string for name, keyboard.nextLine, and enter the price of the item to sell, and then a double for price is double.parseDouble, given the keyboard.nextLine, and enter the quantity, sure. And then we'll have an int for quantity is integer.parseInt, integer parseInt, given the keyboard.nextLine. Right, and we can make an item. So then item equals a new item, given the name, the price, and the quantity. Here, how about we call this a new item? There we go. And then I can use my method, right? We wrote add item, the database. We need to add it to the IntelliJ. Now this would probably be better as like a class level variable, like a static value, so we don't need to keep passing it around. We can change this sort of stuff later, and we'll give it the new item. Right, and then we'll go get our list of items here. We'll see if we can add it, and then see if it shows up in the list. So what else should we sell? All right, the name of the item to sell. Should we sell, how about a latte? And now lattes are expensive. They're like $3.99 because they added milk, and you know how expensive milk is. I don't know. Let's say we've got 5 of those. And now we see a latte comes back in our results. Okay, so we can add stuff. Let's go refactor this. So let's take out that item name. Let's make a class level static private static string file name equals IntelliJ test. I want to not keep doing this everywhere. Oops. Didn't need all those. Okay. Now we don't need to pass it the file name, right? Because we have the file name. Just pass it just an item. I like that. I'll make life a little easier here, right? Okay. Cool. So we got our file name. Right, so that's for creating, and that's for reading. Now, if we want to update something, so updates are a little trickier here, but they're definitely doable. So I'm going to copy this one to start, and now we want to say update item. Update item in database? I don't know. Sure. Give it an item. Now, I'm going to get rid of this one here. So the command for update then is update item. Now, this one gets a little funny here. So what we want to do is we need to tell it what we're changing. So we're going to say update item. We're going to set price equal to something here, comma, quantity equal to something here. And then we need to make sure we're only updating the right item. So we add this where clause. So a where clause will say only do something where this thing matches. We'll say where name equals something. So I want to change the price and I want to change the quantity where the name equals something. So name's not going to change, right? We said name can't change. Once you're selling coffee, it's called coffee forever, essentially. But you can change the price of it, you can change the quantity of it here. So then we need to change these indexes here, which is kind of obnoxious, but that's okay. So price will be 1, quantity will be 2, and name will be 3. So I'm going to change the order of them as well. So the update command will update a row or any row where this is true. So if you have more than one thing in your database called coffee in that table, it's going to update all of them. And there's things you can do in database land to make sure you have unique rows and things like that. We're kind of skipping by a lot of that detail because I don't know how much database stuff you folks have done before, and hope that's okay. But now I can update a item, right? I can change the price, I can change the quantity, as long as the name matches here. So, and again, in SQL land, just a single equal sign checks for does the name equal something, or it will say it will update the price. So we're setting the price equal to a new value, we're setting the quantity equals to a new value where our name matches. So we can ask for an item to update here if we wanted. So let's add another method here. So public static void, public static item, get item details from user. How about that? And we'll do all of these things here. And then we'll return that new item. Okay, so I can say, hey, my new item, new item equals get item details from the user, and I can add that item to the database, right? And I can say item to update, I don't know, is get item details from the user, and maybe we just tell them, hey, how about, let's update an item, I don't know, to the name of an existing item. So this is a little bit funny here because I don't know if it's actually an existing item or not here. but we'll assume they're going to do the right thing for us here. And then we want to call update item in database, given the item to update. Okay? So let's give it a run. Let's see if we can add a new item, update an item, and then list them all out here. Right, enter the name of an item to sell. All right, what else should we sell? How about we should sell a espresso. Espresso, we'll just charge 99 cents for a shot of espresso and say we got 20 of those. Okay, now let's update an item. Enter the name of an existing item. Okay, maybe we want to charge more for espresso. So let's do espresso. Let's say now it's going to be, how about $1.49, and we have 20 of them. I probably should have updated something else so you saw that it worked here. Let's try that again. Let's run it again. All right, enter the name of an item to sell. How about a mocha for $3.99? And we got 10 of those. Why not? All right, now what should we update? So let's try something that doesn't exist here for $1.99 and 10. Notice nothing updated, right? It's perfectly fine if this doesn't match. Nothing will update, right? Because we didn't give it the name of something that existed here. It's not going to work, right? Because this command says, okay, as long as the name matches, go update it, and it says, oh, the name doesn't match anywhere, and it says, okay, I didn't update anything. So it's relatively nice to say, okay, sure, we'll give that a try. Sorry, let me move that down a line here just to kind of clean that up a little bit. Okay, so updates, great, and then we can do deletes too. So again, very similar. We're going to use that where clause. So this is delete item in database. So we're going to delete item, delete from item, which is weird. They add extra words here. I don't know why. Where name equals. So all we care about is the name here, right? Again, ideally that's unique for us here. So delete from item where name equals. And we'll go delete anything where that name matches. It might match, it might not. So then we'll add let's delete an item here. Let's enter the name of, let's delete an item, and this is item to delete here. We're going to move that up, I guess. And then we'll call delete item from database given the item to delete. Okay. We should try it. So that's the create is insert, read is select, update is update, and delete is delete. They don't always match. I don't know. It's a little funny, but those are our basic CRUD operations: create, read, update, and delete. All right. So what else should we sell? We should sell. How about a flat white? That's one of my favorite drinks. It's like a latte, but there's no foam, so it's pretty good. Those probably just as much, which is silly, but that's okay. So we got 10 of those. All right. Let's update an item. Let's update the. How about we update the coffee? Let's put coffee on sale for 50 cents. And we got 10 of those, and then we'll delete an item. Let's delete the bits here. The price doesn't matter, the quantity doesn't matter because we're deleting it. Maybe we shouldn't have asked for all those. Maybe we could have just asked for name here then, right? And now we see we have coffee for 50 cents. It looks like it got updated. We have all of our other items. We don't have bits anymore. Right? Pretty cool. Seems to be working. So maybe we fix that up here then. So maybe we say enter the name, and we'll just have item to delete equals a new item given, so the name can be keyboard.next line, and the name, price, and quantity don't matter. Oh, we don't have the keyboard next line here. That's all right. We'll add that in. Scanner for keyboard equals a new scanner given system.in. Okay. So if we just make the name, we don't care about price and quantity here, right? Don't care about price and quantity. Just the name matters for deleting. Okay, and then we'll go list them all out. That sound okay? You following along? It's not too bad. Again, there's a lot more to it here. Let's go and grab this here. So did we talk about project 2 is due next week, right? Next Tuesday? That's 5 more, yeah, next Tuesday, 5 more days for that one. Do you want to wait? Let's wait on the next project then. So we'll wait until that one's due before we start the next one. I don't want to pile on here. So we'll do a little lab first. How about that? We'll add let's do lab 10 for classrooms. We'll go to lab 10. Lab 10. This will be our Java template. Oh, I gotta add in, I need the rest of that. Oakland, Trinity, College, Java template. All right, we'll add that one there. Feedback pull requests. Okay. So do next week then, at 10 a.m. Points. This is lab 10, SQLite part 2, I guess, because we wanted to just get the connection going. I wanted to give you some points for just getting that connection going. Here, submit the feedback, pull request URL. So I'm going to say if you want to start with this, it's perfectly fine. I've got no issues with that. We just want to kind of tweak this here. Again, I don't know that anybody had any previous database experience, so I don't want to throw too much of the databasey stuff at you. So using the in-class example, update the code to make a nice menu that allows the user to pick an option of add item, update item, delete item, or list all items in a loop that continues until they are done. Right, so just a little like a management. So a little loop here. Hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to see your items? Do you want to add a new item? Do you want to update an item? Do you want to delete an item? On and on and on and on. And just they get a loop forever. So we've got all the methods and functions here. All the methods already existing here. If you don't have the database, I think actually I can add it. Let me try that real quick. I think if we just say file name, we probably need a whole path. Let me double check that. JDBC SQLite relative path. Not sure it's doable. Let's see. Relative path. Relative path should be the projects directory. Oh, might work. Yeah, NetBeans you can like connect to a database too. Maybe we should have just stuck with NetBeans. I think we can do it, but we needed the better version of IntelliJ, right? I think that's what it was. Relative path. Let's try it. Let's see what happens if we give it just db/file name. Curious. Let's just give that a test real quick, because that way it would at least put the file here as well. We'll see what it does for us. Coffee, $1, 10 of them. All right, maybe it worked. Update an item. We just don't need anything. 1 and 1. Oh, now it's saying path doesn't exist. Oh, I only updated the one. That's what it was here. Yeah, so we got that same path everywhere. That's my bad. Probably don't want that same path everywhere, right? Okay, try that again. Try that again. Oh, that's just saying the folder doesn't exist. Okay. So maybe it'll work. Yes, forget that. So let's just say file name. Here, how about we, okay, let's fix that up. Stop. We'll just do the URL, right? Private static string URL is this thing. Try that. We're going to try it. All right, let's give that a run. Should just be able to make the file, I'm thinking. Uh-oh. Missed a semicolon. Try it again. Maybe. Come on. Let's see. All right. Coffee for $1. We have one of them. Oh, there's no table now. Okay. All right, so made the database. That's good. Made the database. But now, because we didn't add it, oh, that's a bummer. Okay, so we can then, let's just do our SQL browser. We'll go open our database from that location now. And then it should just exist. So you should be able to just copy that file, is my hope here, just to make life easier for you folks. Documents, GitHub, 2151, databases in IntelliJ. We should have, there we go, a database. Awesome. Did it open? Oh, I gotta stop. So now will it open? I think it was, we still had it open in the program. I think it was upset about that. Oh, there we go. Yep, now we can make a table. So we want the item table. We want a field for name as text. We want a field for price as numeric. And we want a field for quantity as an integer. Okay, and save our changes. One more time. I guess it might be useful to build the tables out so that, if someone else were to have this, they could run it, but we'll see. All right, so we'll do coffee for $1. We've got one of them. It didn't crash. So again, update, we're not going to update anything. We don't want to delete anything. And now we get a coffee. Awesome. So if we open up our database again and try and find that one here, and we look at browsing data, we see we've got data here for coffee. All right, awesome. So I'll commit this code here to GitHub. And for the lab, we just want to kind of modify it to make the nice menu portion. So the database part, don't worry too much about. We'll work on using that existing stuff and then modifying those just the method, the loops here. So let's CRUD operations. So you should just be able to copy paste that file in if you download it into yours, and it should work. All right, if you have any trouble, let me know. I want to work on practicing the rest of this for lab today, so I think that's all we've got to talk about right now. We'll have a little bit more time next week. The threading, I'm not going to go super crazy deep on it, so I don't think we'll need both classes necessarily to get to the threading. All right, awesome. All right, well, let's try getting started on this. If there's anything I can do, let me know. I'll jump on and help out with that, and we can go from there. Okay, folks? All right, thanks, everybody. I will see you around or next week. Take care.